Welcome back. Game 2 getting ready to begin here between the Tampa Spartans and the visiting St. Leo Lions. I'm Bruce Wozniak. The home team won Game 1 of this scheduled doubleheader by a score of 6-4. UT has now won 5 games in a row. That includes last night's 3-2 victory over these same St. Leo Lions. The Spartans have improved their overall season one-loss record to a most impressive 9-1 start. St. Leo 7-5. The starting pitcher for UT in Game 2 is Mariah Galehouse, and she comes in with a 2-0 one-loss record. She has pitched 21 innings this season, a most impressive 1.00 earned run average. And we are ready to begin as Galehouse looks in for the sign from Kenna Kreidler. And the first pitch of Game 2 is strike one. The leadoff hitter is Brianna Neal. And what a great game she had in the first game of this doubleheader. As the next pitch bounces away from Kreidler. The 1-1 now to Brianna Neal, and does just catch the corner of the strike zone for 1-2 count. And you see out number 1 there for the Lions as Marissa Martinez comes to the plate for the visitors. And that one outside for ball 1 to Martinez. It's been a beautiful afternoon here weather-wise, and a great crowd on hand here at the Namoli Family Stadium to watch these two SSC opponents going head-to-head once again. Two balls and one strike to Marissa Martinez. And lashes that one, fielded nicely and over to first base for out number 2. Our temperature outside here in Tampa is still 85, and the feels like is 86. And you see sun basically everywhere on this field. As the home plate umpire made a little visit over to the Spartans dugout, back in place and ready to resume. This is Sydney Klein batting for St. Leo. Strike one. Another offering from Galehouse, and Klein sends that one to third. Russo with the throw over to first. They do tag the runner for out number 3. 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, no Spartan errors, and no Lions runners left on base. And after this break, we will be back with the bottom of the first here on TampaSpartans.tv. Back live and ready for the bottom of the first. And the Spartans, of course, will lead off with their left fielder, Lauren Fantone. And the first pitch to Fantone is strike one. Julie Stakowitz is the starting pitcher for the St. Leo Lions here in Game 2 of this doubleheader. The 5'7" 5'7" lefty from Latonia, Ohio. Bats left, throws left. And the 1-1 to Fantone is fouled off. Stakowitz, a 1.24 earned run average this season. A 1-0 1-loss record. Swing and a miss, and Lauren Fantone strikes out to start off for the Spartans. In Game 2 of the doubleheader, has a few words for her teammate Lily Keister. As Keister steps into the batter's box to face the lefty Julie Stakowitz. And Keister knocks that one foul down the first base line. Keister, base hit, just finds the gap. And Lily Keister is aboard as the Spartans' first base runner of this second game of the doubleheader. So with one out, that will bring catcher Kenna Kreidler to the plate for UT. Kreidler awaiting the pitch from Stakowitz. It's on the way. And that's going to be ball one. And off to the races goes Keister and slides in safely with the stolen base. With one out, the Spartans now have a runner in scoring position for the batter, Kenna Kreidler. There is no score. We are in the bottom of the first inning here in Game 2 of a scheduled doubleheader between the Spartans and the St. Leo Lions. Way outside for a ball against Kenna Kreidler. Stakowitz steps up, looks in, pitch is on the way, and Kreidler backs off. That one was at the knees, and it's another ball. 3 balls, 1 strike. And that one's going to be outside for ball 4. Kenna Kreidler draws the base on balls, and with only one out, the Spartans now with runners at first and second. And pitcher Mariah Galehouse to the plate. And her accomplishments with the bat are well documented. And she goes head-to-head against Stakowitz. That one outside for ball 1. And right down Main Street for strike one. Galehouse awaiting the 1-1. Runners on first and second. Pitch on the way. And sends that one foul down the third base line. Mariah pitching and batting in this game, as she so often does. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Next offering from Stakowitz, outside for a ball. Galehouse at the ready. Stakowitz delivers, and that's going to be fouled back to the screen, out of play. Two balls, 2 strikes. And Galehouse fouls off another one. That one lands on top of the St. Leo dugout. Mariah battling to stay alive here in the bottom of the first. Trying to contribute to her team's and what would be the game's first run. And now the plot thickens as the count goes full. Galehouse looking over at head coach Leslie Cantor, and she's right back in the batter's box. The 3-2 on the way and draws the walk, and the bases are now loaded. And the St. Leo catcher asks for time, and there will be a little conference out in the pitching circle for the visitors as Alexa Russo will be the Spartans batter. And the battery is now satisfied for St. Leo. And with 1 out and the bases loaded, we will see Julie Stakowitz go head-to-head against Alexa Russo here. Russo, don't forget, homered in last night's victory. And now sends one foul down the third baseline. Umbrellas going up in the spectator seating area due to the sun, as we are now at 3:57 p.m. Eastern Time here in West Central Florida. The 0-1 coming to Russo. Swings and a base hit to left field. 2 runs. Well, 1 run scores, and Cantor right away stops Kenna Kreidler, who looked like she wanted to make the turn. But either way, UT gets on the board first on a RBI single from Alexa Russo. And that'll bring up Abby Salt for the home team. And keep in mind that the bases are still loaded for UT as Julie Stakowitz gets ready to go to work here against number 13, and Salt takes ball 1. Abby Salt, 5'10" from just over the bridge in St. Pete. And look out, that one hit her, and so the Spartans will get another run on a hit by pitch as Salt is awarded first base. And Kenna Kreidler crossed to the plate and now passes a little inside along to Kelsey Winters. As Kreidler is the next run and goes to the dugout while Winters gets ready to step into the batter's box. And it looks like we're going to have a pitching change already for St. Leo, as Haley Thomas is going to take some warm-up pitches. And we'll take a short break during this pitching change and be back with more on TampaSpartans.tv. Ready to resume now, as Haley Thomas now in the circle pitching for St. Leo, and her first pitch is a ball against Kelsey Winters. A 2-0 Spartans lead, the base is loaded, and just one out. And the next pitch from Thomas, and that one is ball 2. Haley Thomas comes in with a 1.19 earned run average, a 4-2 one-loss record. And Haley Thomas, a local product, Durant High School. She's from Lithia, Florida. And she is facing the Tampa Spartans, who are putting up quite a threat here in the bottom of the first inning. And you see the head coach, Aaron Kinberger, out there talking to Thomas. And now the conference is over. And Kelsey Winters is currently the Spartans batter. She is from nearby Wesley Chapel. And Winters steps back into the batter's box and ready for the next pitch from Haley Thomas. And here comes that 2-0. And she does get strike one. The Spartans won 3-2 last night, 6-4 in game one. They lead this one 2-0, and that one's chopped to third, and they throw it a home. Winters is aboard at first as the Lions get the runner at home plate. So with 2 outs now in the bottom of the first, it's McKenna DiMartino batting and sends that one to left field. And what a catch! A great play by the Lions to close out the bottom of the first and shut down a Spartans attack. And so we'll go to The top of the second when we return after this break on TampaSpartans.tv. Back live here, and the Spartans leading 2-0 after one full inning of play as Lindsay Corazzini into the batter's box, and a ground ball that will be fielded over to first in time. And Corazzini is retired by Solt as out number one for the Lions here in the top of the second, and that'll bring up Cheyenne Waller. You saw the at-bat there from Cheyenne Waller as she is on first base. And now Maddie Antioco to the batter's box. Antioco, the number 6 hitter in the lineup. And that one's going to be a base hit for Antioco. Runners at first and second now for St. Leo with only one out here in the top of the second. That'll bring up the number 7 hitter, Adriana Prez-Paluski. And here's the 0-1 from Galehouse. One ball, one strike. And Prez-Paluski looked like she was ready and showed great restraint and holding off as the count goes to 2-1. You could almost feel her going through the swing and not doing so. And that one she does. Russo with a nice job to step on third base and then over to first for the double play. And so the Spartans shut down the threat from St. Leo and complete the top of the second. So the Spartans remain in the lead 2-0. We'll be back with their bottom half of the second after this on TampaSpartans.tv. I'm Bruce Wozniak. We are at Namoli Family Stadium. Tampa Spartans facing the St. Leo Lions, game 2 of a scheduled doubleheader. And we are starting the bottom of the second inning with the home team leading 2-0. And this is Kenzie Reynolds leading things off for UT. And she's going to be out very quickly on the first pitch. Ground out. As you saw the throw from Perez Paluski over to Waller. That sends us back to the top of the order for the Spartans as Lauren Fantone into the batter's box here against Haley Thomas. That one skips into the dirt for ball 1. Haley Thomas, in case you just joined us, took over for Julie Stakowitz, who had started the game for St. Leo, as Fantone hits it right back to Thomas and over to Waller at first base for out number 2. That'll bring up Lily Keister. And Keister watches that one go outside for ball 1. I had mentioned before that the Spartans, they will next be in action on Friday. That's February 21, a 6 p.m. start down in Boca Raton against Lynn. And now the 1-1 on the way to Keister, swings and misses. Spartans are ranked number 5. St. Leo, they will be back in action on Friday as well. They will play Rollins at 5 p.m. on Friday. That game will be at St. Leo. Two balls, 2 strikes. Keister bounces that one right back to Thomas over to first for out number 3. So UT, no runs, no hits, no St. Leo errors, and no Tampa runners left on base. We are through 2 complete. Spartans lead at 2-0. Back with more softball after this on TampaSpartans.tv. Back live here at the Namoli Family Stadium. And the Spartans leading 2-0 as St. Leo comes to bat here in the top of the third. And Galehouse with her first pitch. And that's looked at by Gabby Oliveria. And Oliveria fouls that one back to the screen. Count even at 1-1. And there's ball 2 to Oliveria. Galehouse's 2-1 offering is chopped to third. Russo fires over to first in time, and that'll be an easy out for UT defensively. That'll bring up Hope Epps for St. Leo here in the top of the third. And Russo again, and there's out number 2. That'll bring up Brianna Neal, the dangerous Brianna Neal. Lions batting here in the top of the third. Each team has 2 hits. And Neal looking at ball 1 there. Galehouse ready, winds, delivers. And there's strike 1. Outside for ball 2. Neal awaiting a pitch. Galehouse delivers, and through the glove this time of Russo into left field, and Brianna Neal with yet another base hit on the day as the Lions have a runner aboard with 2 outs here in the top of the third. Marissa Martinez to the batter's box for the visitors now. Martinez bounces that one, and it will be played by Reynolds over to Salt for out number 3. And the Spartans able to shut down any threat by St. Leo. We will take another break and be back with the bottom of the third right here on TampaSpartans.tv. Kenna Kreidler to lead things off for the Spartans. Here in the bottom of the third, they currently lead 2-0. working against Haley Thomas, who had come on in relief of starter Julie Stakowicz here in the second game of the doubleheader. First pitch of the bottom of the third inning is ball one to the Spartans catcher. And as the afternoon moves along and the sun's starting to move, you see some shadows now over the infield that's in between the batter's box and the pitcher's circle. Count 2-0. Thomas looking into her dugout for some instructions. And her 2-0 offering on the way. And fielded, thrown over to first in plenty of time to retire Kreidler as out number one here in the bottom of the third. That'll bring up Mariah Galehouse. And Galehouse takes ball one. Mariah swings, misses. Count goes to 1-1. Ball two. Well, they call a strike. Galehouse looking down at Leslie Cantor. Took a long stroll out of the batter's box. And that one's way outside. And now the count even at 2-2. Haley Thomas ready, looks in. And Galehouse, that one's going to go foul down the third baseline. Thomas taking her time with this one. 2-2 on the way, and another one fouled down the third base side by Galehouse. And a long walk out of the batter's box that time. I had wondered if possibly the ball had made some contact with her body, but Galehouse looks to be okay. Next pitch is fouled way out of play this time. Galehouse staying alive here in what's turning into a long at-bat. Unofficially 7 pitches in this at-bat. Make that 8, as there's another one that's going to go over near the Spartans bullpen area. 4 consecutive pitches that she has fouled off. And make that 5 in a row that she has fouled off. Mariah Galehouse is not going to go down without a fight in this bottom of the third at-bat. Only 1 out all this time for UT. They lead 2-0. And Haley Thomas's next pitch, and that one goes for a ball. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Unofficially, a 10-pitch at bat. Next offering from Thomas, and that one's going to be sent foul down the third base line as Mariah Galehouse continues this long at bat here in the bottom of the third inning, trying to outduel her opponent in the sense that Galehouse is UT's pitcher in this game. And that one's in the dirt for ball 4, and Mariah Galehouse outlasts Haley Thomas in a lengthy at-bat that results with the Spartans pitcher on first base. Alexa Russo into the batter's box for the home team. And here comes the first pitch to her from Haley Thomas. And the catcher tries to frame it to convince the umpire otherwise, but that is ball 1. And now a conference as St. Leo head coach Aaron Kinberger comes out to talk with Haley Thomas, her pitcher, and the rest of the infielders for that matter. And of course the Lions catcher. So UT is going to have a little discussion. Head coach Leslie Cantor and assistant coach Denise Rubio talking with both Alexa Russo and Mariah Galehouse, 2 of their veteran players. If you're a Spartans fan, it's been a good afternoon of softball. If you're a Lions fan, a little bit frustrating, but there's hope as we're only in the bottom of the third. And you see the conference still happening out in the pitching circle and now breaking up. And UT concludes theirs as well, as you see Galehouse running back over to first base there. And so Haley Thomas will get ready to go back to work against Alexa Russo here. There's the pitch, and Russo promptly sends that one into center field for a base hit. Galehouse made the turn and then opts to retreat back to second base after all. So Alexa Russo, after the long delay, the conference that the Lions had in the pitching circle, promptly with a single to center field, and UT with only 1 out here in the bottom of the third has runners on first and second as Abby Salt strolls to the plate. The 5'10" grad student. Salt ready and waiting. And Thomas sends that one in for ball 1. And the 1-0 on the way. And Salt just holds off. That's going to be strike 1. And that one is swung on and makes it through the diving shortstop. And around to score comes Mariah Galehouse, and the Spartans increase their lead to 3-0 on an RBI single by Abby Salt as Alexa Russo goes into second base standing up. duty at bat continues in the person of Kelsey Winters. First pitch to her is strike one. Swing and a miss by Kelsey Winters as she falls behind in the count 0-2. And I believe that the Lions might have had someone up throwing in the bullpen. As here comes the 0-2 from Thomas, and that's way outside. And so Kelsey Winters, 1-2 to her now here in the bottom of the third. Her team has increased its lead to 3-0. And fouled back to the screen as Winters stays alive. Next pitch from Thomas, and Winters gets underneath that one, and that's going to go out of play as it bounces off the screen. Thomas checks the wristband. And the 1-2 on the way. Winters swings and misses, and that'll be out number 2 for the Spartans here in the bottom of the third, which will bring McKenna DiMartino to the plate. And DiMartino watches strike one go by. And that one, a wild pitch. The runners will advance. Haley Thomas wild with that one as the home team gets 2 runners in scoring position now, albeit with 2 outs. And McKenna DiMartino awaits the next pitch. It's on the way, swings and finds the gap. And DiMartino will drive in 2 runs as both Russo and Abby Salt cross the plate. And the Spartans increase their lead to 5-0. A single by DiMartino that drives in 2 more. And with Aaron Kinberger, the Lions head coach, talking to the home plate umpire, I am anticipating another pitching change here for St. Leo, and in fact, that is the case. And Chloe Hokard is going to take over, so we will take a short break while she throws her warm-up pitches, and we'll be back with more here on TampaSpartans.tv. Back here at the Namoli Family Stadium, we saw Tierney Hokard pitch before, and now we're going to see Chloe Hokard, a freshman from Kitchener, Ontario, as the Spartans are threatening here. They have scored 3 times here in the bottom of the third. There are 2 outs, and UT's lead is up to 5-0 as Kenzie Reynolds is getting set to bat here for the home team. And so Erin Kinberger, the coach of the Lions, trying to see if she can get her freshman pitcher to shut down these Spartan bats. Hokard's first pitch goes for a strike. Kenzie Reynolds awaits. The next one is in, and Reynolds fouls that off towards the St. Leo dugout. No balls, 2 strikes. Reynolds awaiting Chloe Hokard's next offering and will be out, courtesy of a nifty play there by Brianna Neal, but not before the Spartans do lots of damage. 3 runs, 3 hits, no St. Leo errors, 1 runner left on base. UT up 5-0 now after 3 complete. We'll be back with more after this on TampaSpartans.tv. Back live here at the Namoli Family Stadium. I'm Bruce Wozniak. The Tampa Spartans going for their 6th consecutive victory. They currently lead 5-0 over the visiting St. Leo Lions. In case you're just joining us, UT won the first game of this scheduled doubleheader. The final score of the earlier game today was 6-4. And now you see Sydney Klein batting for the Lions here in the top of the 4th. UT with that victory improved to 9-1 overall. St. Leo fell to 7-5. As you see Klein foul that one off out of play. Mariah Galehouse, the UT pitcher, her next pitch on the way, and right into the gut. Nobody there. Solt finally corralled it and then threw it to first, and no one was covering, and as a result, the Lions end up with a runner over on second base. So Klein reaches, and now Corazzini to bat for the visitors. An optimistic beginning to their top of the 4th. And there's a shot to center field, but Keister gets under it. A routine catch. Corzini is retired. That'll bring up Cheyenne Waller. Waller, I mentioned in game one, hails from up in Citrus County, Inverness specifically, fouls that one off. Looks down at her head coach, Aaron Kinberger. Her teammate out on second base is Sydney Klein. And here's the 0-1, swing and a miss. Waller looked like she was swinging for the fences on that one. And there's one to left field. That's going to drop for a base hit. They do throw it to third, not in time. And Waller is going to end up at second. A break there for St. Leo as they end up with runners on second and third, and all with just one out here in the top of the fourth. That'll bring to the plate Maddie Antioco. Although the visitors do currently trail 5-0. Galehouse sends that one in for ball one. Count even now, 1-1. That looked like a changeup as the count goes to 1-2. Galehouse, as that one is going to be a base hit, and one runner scores. They try to get her at second, and no. Antioco safe there, so runners on second and third again as the Lions do finally get on the scoreboard. 5-1 now our score with one out. That'll bring Adriana Prespolewski to the plate. Called strike. Low and outside for a ball. Prespolewski at the ready, as is Galehouse. And that one goes up high for a ball. Two balls, one strike. And there's a bouncer. Russo throws home. And making the tag is Kreidler for out number 2. So runners now at first and second for the Lions, although there are now 2 away. Gabby Olivaria to bat for St. Leo. Just got a piece of that one, and the Spartans will retire her to end the top of the fourth, but not before the Lions finally get on the scoreboard. 1 run on 2 hits. There was 1 Spartan errors and 2 Lions runners left on base. Through 3.5, the Spartans lead at 5-1. We'll be back with more softball after this break on TampaSpartans.tv. Thanks for being with us this afternoon on TampaSpartans.tv. A softball game earlier today that the home team took the W 6-4 and currently in front 5-1 in this second half of the doubleheader. Lauren Fantone to lead things off here in the bottom of the fourth, as she has done for so long now in a UT uniform. First pitch to her is a ball. Mother Nature has been very kind to this stadium and these fans this afternoon. A beautiful afternoon for softball here in West Central Florida. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fantone. And their home plate umpire says, no. Strike 2. Foul tip. Do it all over again. And that one is in the dirt for ball 2. Swing and a miss. Fantone strikes out here in the bottom of the fourth. That'll bring up Lily Keister, the center fielder. In the dirt and corralled by the catcher as Keister starts off this bottom of the fourth at bat ahead in the count 1-0. Swing and a miss by Keister, and a pitch from Chloe Hokard that fooled her as the count goes even. Showing bunt. Keister behind in the count 1-2. And that one fouled off to the screen as Keister hanging around here in the bottom of the fourth. A real back and forth game to start this doubleheader, and this one has been all UT as the catcher tries to frame that one to convince the home plate umpire otherwise, but he makes the count even at 2-2. He's not buying what she's selling. Next pitch to Keister, and that one is strike 3. And down goes Lily Keister as out number 2 of this bottom of the 4th. That'll bring up the catcher, Kenna Kreidler. Awaiting Chloe Hokard. Sends that one in for strike 1. No balls, 1 strike. Kreidler at the ready. Pitches on the way, swing and a miss. And that looked like a changeup from Hokard that fooled Kenna Kreidler. And another swing and miss, another strikeout for Chloe Hokard. And that closes out the 4th inning. No runs, no hits, no Lion errors, and no Spartan runners left on base. Through 4 complete, Spartans lead at 5-1. Back with more softball after this on TampaSpartans.tv. Ready to start the top of the 5th inning. Spartans in the lead 5-1. And it's Mariah Galehouse against Hope Epps. Here to start things off. As the Spartans are trying for their 6th consecutive victory. That one gets away from Kreidler. And so Epps back into the batter's box. And that one will be called for a ball. Galehouse looking just ever so frustrated. And that one is going to be ball 4. And Hope Epps draws the walk. And into the batter's box steps the dangerous Brianna Neal. As the Lions trying to put together enough of what would constitute a threat here against the Spartans in the second half of this game. And there goes the runner, and the throw is not going to be successful. In fact, advancing to third base now will be Hope Epps. And so with nobody out in the top of the 5th, the Lions have their most dangerous hitter at the plate. And a runner on third base. That's going to be a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike against Neal. And a ground ball up the middle. And Epps crosses home plate. And the Lions put another run up on the board as Brianna Neal has just been dominant today. Granted, the first game was in a losing effort, but she has let her bat do the talking for her this afternoon. As we now see Marissa Martinez facing Gale House again with nobody out. A runner on first, and her team now trailing by 3. And Gale House, her body language just looks like she's showing just enough frustration that maybe the Lions are starting to get into her head a little bit. And there goes the runner again, and this time they do get her. And Brianna Neal is out on the stolen base attempt. And a big play defensively there by the Spartans. And nice job by Kenna Kreidler to find the mark that time and get it there in time. As there's now 1 down for St. Leo. And of course, when I refer to St. Leo, I mean the university and not the actual saint. Gale House, ready. Next pitch to Marissa Martinez. Right back to Gale House and over to first for out number 2. So Mariah Galehouse helps her own cause. And now this is Sydney Klein into the batter's box for the visitors. Just catches the corner of the strike zone. 0-1 against Marissa Martinez. And low for ball 1. Chopped foul. Sydney Klein behind now in the count 1-2. And that one's going to be foul down the left field line. Lauren Fantone chasing it into the far corner. UT in the lead 5-2. And the bases are empty for St. Leo here in the top of the 5th. And a nice diving play, but not able to get the throw off in time, is Kenzie Reynolds. Give her an E for effort. She made a great job to dive and spear that ball. Just not enough time, though, to get Klein over at first. So St. Leo stays alive here in the top of the 5th. And fouling off the first pitch is Lindsay Corazzini. The Lions, with the bus ride after the game, back up I-75 to their campus and wanting to rally in this one to make that ride back up there just a little bit more enjoyable after having dropped last night's game here at UT and then the first one of this doubleheader. They are all huddling, hearing from their coach, Aaron Kinberger, as the Spartans take a similar opportunity just outside the pitching circle. Spartans had led 5-0, and then St. Leo put one up in the top of the fourth. They've put one up here in the top of the fifth. They have 2 outs. And, of course, a runner at first base. So trying to remain optimistic and continue to scratch and claw their way back into this one. Trying to mount a ferocious Lion comeback. And Mariah Galehouse certainly wants to have something to say about that as she gets ready for her 0-1 pitch here to Lindsay Corazzini. And that's strike 2. Just outside enough for ball 1. And there's one to left field. Fantone there in time for out number 3. So the Lions are done in the top of the 5th after putting up another run. They cut the deficit to a 5-2 Spartan lead. After this break on TampaSpartans.tv. Back live here at the Namoli Family Stadium. I'm Bruce Wozniak, thanking you for spending your Saturday afternoon with us as the Spartans get ready to send their starting pitcher, Mariah Galehouse, to the batter's box to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning. Her team holding a 5-2 lead as she awaits the pitch from Chloe Hokard. There it is. Ball 1 to Mariah. Looked at that one for ball 2. Galehouse looks down the third base line at her head coach Leslie Cantor, who doesn't even make eye contact, as if to imply, you've been in this program long enough and are so established, I don't need to tell you what to do out there, as she fouls that one off. 2 balls, 1 strike. Galehouse just leans back from that one as the count goes to 3-1. A little too close for comfort. Pitch location, that is. Hokard. Galehouse laces that one to left field, a base hit. And Mariah makes the turn and will hold up as she's on base with a single to start this bottom of the 5th inning, bringing up Alexa Russo. Russo awaiting the first pitch. It's on its way, showing bunt. It goes back to the screen. And now it looks like St. Leo might be sending another pitcher to go warm up in the bullpen. Indeed, I do see a pitcher and a catcher taking their place out there as Russo lays down the bunt and it goes foul. And so she will retreat to the batter's box and Mariah Galehouse will return to first base. But we do in fact have activity in the St. Leo bullpen. And with their team not having another game until Friday, you can't blame Aaron Kinberger for pulling out all the stops, even if it does mean changing pitchers yet again. In the meantime, Hokard, that's up high, and Russo, you saw her hold off. And the home plate umpire checks with his colleague who says, nope, Russo did not go around. Russo swings at that one off the pitcher's glove, and that may slow things down. No, they do get Russo at first, but Galehouse on the fielder's choice, advancing to second. So that'll bring up Abby Salt. UT with a chance here to go back into a little bit bigger lead. What with a runner at second and only one out. They had led 5-0 before a run in the top of the fourth by St. Leo and then a run in the top of the fifth as that one is skied to right field. The catch is made and Galehouse is going to hold at second. So Salt is down quickly as out number 2. That'll bring Kelsey Winters to the plate for the Spartans. And she watches the first pitch go outside for ball 1. And the shadows as the sun has moved, probably covering 2/3 of the infield as you see in the picture. And a swing and a miss by Kelsey Winters. Hokard checks the wristband. Swing and a miss. Sunset is at 6:21. We will long be over by then. As the ball goes to the backstop, they try to throw it third, but no. In safely is Mariah Galehouse. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, however. And that one is popped up and called for and caught for out number 3. So down go the Spartans in the bottom of the 5th. No runs and 1 hit. There were no Lion errors. 1 Spartan runner left on base. We are through 5 complete. Back with more softball after this on TampaSpartans.tv. Back live here at the Namoli Family Stadium. The top of the 6th inning about to begin for the visiting St. Leo Lions. And doing the honors for the visitors will be Cheyenne Waller. And Waller, strike one, as Mariah Galehouse continuing to work here from the pitching circle for the home team. Swing and a miss by Waller, 0-2. She falls behind very quickly. Galehouse already set to go. Sends that one in. Strike three, and Cheyenne Waller is retired on 3 consecutive pitches. That'll bring up Maddie Antioco for St. Leo. And another strike thrown by Galehouse. That one's up high for ball one. Galehouse looks like she's in a little bit of a rhythm here, and pitch is coming a little bit quicker. Next one is on its way. 2 balls, 1 strike now. Right away with the next one. And that's a strike as the count goes even. 2 balls, 2 strikes against the opponent who wears uniform number 2, and Galehouse looking for out number 2. And that one's going to be fouled off to the St. Leo dugout. Everybody's ready. And now here comes Galehouse. And that one swung on and fielded nicely over to Salt for out number 2. Nice job there by Kenzie Reynolds to corral that ground ball. That'll bring Adriana Prez-Paluski to the plate for St. Leo. Swung on and right at Alexa Russo, who fires it over to Salt for out number 3. St. Leo, no runs, no hits, no Spartan errors, and no St. Leo runners left on base. We are through 5.5. UT in the lead 5-2. Back with more softball after this break on TampaSpartans.tv. Back here at the Namoli Family Stadium, and the Spartans getting ready to bat here in the bottom of the 6th inning. As you see the final warm-up pitch thrown there by Chloe Hokard. The Lions have used plenty of pitchers on this day, factoring in game one of the doubleheader. UT, meanwhile, they will start off offensively with McKenna DiMartino into the batter's box here in what they hope will be their last half inning of the day, the bottom of the sixth. Strike one to DiMartino, the freshman from Claremont. Not terribly far away. Swing and a miss by DiMartino. Chloe Hokard ahead in the count here. Her 0-2 on the way and not able to find the strike zone as DiMartino stays alive. Bounces that one foul. And down goes DiMartino on strike three. And so the Spartans with one away here in the bottom of the sixth. That'll bring Kenzie Reynolds to the plate. Oh, Reynolds not only swings and misses, but the bat flies out of her hands to the backstop. Strike two. Kenzie Reynolds needing to shake off that first pitch and the bat slipping out of her hands, as that one is going to go high and outside for a ball. And so Kenzie Reynolds can exhale here despite still being behind in the count. Hopefully a little more control. And ready for this one. Swings and misses, though, and down she goes as another strikeout victim of Chloe Hokard, which will bring us back to the top of the Spartans order and left fielder Lauren Fantone. That's ball one. Fantone fouls that one down the left field line. 1 ball, 1 strike. The St. Leo catcher is Gabby Oliveria, and she has enough times for it to be worth my mentioning. Tried to frame that ball in a way to influence the umpire, and he, of course, is just not going to bite. But she is doing her level best to get him to think long before rendering his decision on a ball versus a strike. 1-2 is the count here against Fantone. And there she did it again. And the umpire just will not cave to her influence, as it's 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Lauren Fantone. Fantone staying alive, fouls that one off. Way over the head of her teammate Lily Keister, who's waiting in the on-deck circle. Another 2-2 on the way. And they do get the strikeout this time as Fantone is retired. So no runs and no hits, no Lion errors, and no Spartan runners left on base. We are through 6 complete. Spartans in the lead 5-2. Back with the top of the 7th after this break on TampaSpartans.tv. Welcome back as the Tampa Spartans, hoping to close things out here in the top of the 7th. They hold a 3-run lead over the visiting St. Leo Lions. Gabby Oliveria, the catcher for the visiting team, starting things off. And somebody called time. And now ready to go again. Galhouse delivers. And that's ball 1. Oliveria swings and misses. And that one just catches the corner. Galhouse ahead now. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Gabby Oliveria. And she gets the strikeout as down goes Oliveria as out number 1 here in the top of the 7th inning. That'll bring up Hope Epps as the Lions need to get their offense going. And this is the part of the lineup where they would look to do it, especially with the dangerous Brianna Neal in the on-deck circle. Epps first here against Galhouse. Two balls, no strikes here to Hope Epps. In the top of the 7th, next pitch on the way, and that is going to be strike 1 as Epps looking down at her head coach, Aaron Kinberger, over at third base in the coach's box. Next pitch right away from Galhouse, and it's back to Mariah. They field it in time to first for out number 2. Some nice help there, backing up Galhouse. And the Lions are going to hope that Brianna Neal can keep things alive here, because UT is 1 out away from their 6th consecutive victory. And Galhouse with the changeup that did not fool Neal. The count is 1-0. And Neal takes that one for ball 2. Neal, Galhouse, ball game. 3 up, 3 down for St. Leo in the top of the 7th, and the Spartans win their 6th consecutive game, a final score of 5-2. UT, a game total of 5 runs on 6 hits, 2 errors. The Lions, 2 runs on 6 hits, no errors. The Spartans sweep the weekend series. They sweep today's doubleheader, and UT improves to 10-1 overall, their one-loss record on the season, while St. Leo now falls to 7-6. A complete game victory for Mariah Galehouse, as you see the teams exchanging high fives across the field. A nice show of sportsmanship. It's been a great afternoon if you've been a Spartans fan, and regardless of which team you were rooting for, we do thank you for spending your Saturday afternoon watching here. I'm Bruce Wozniak, bidding you a wonderful weekend from Nemoli Family Stadium. Spartans win it and sweep the doubleheader. Thank you for watching here on TampaSpartans.tv.